Welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 149 for March 2nd, 2009. Been using Audacity to record the podcast, in case you guys are wondering. And might as well talk about this now. I've been trying to figure out a way to get Skype hooked up with the PC. I had it set up with the Mac. I talked about it last episode. When I had it hooked up with the Mac, what I basically did was I had my Mac Mini as the recording computer, recorded the podcast, and I used GarageBand. And then I had a MacBook as the Skype computer. That was a computer that whenever a Skype person called, I would use the MacBook and just feed that in the line in through the Mac Mini and run it through the mixer so everything worked out. And since I got this PC, which has a lot more power than the Mac Mini, I wanted to do away with a second computer. I wanted to use this computer for everything. So the problem is with Skype is, check this out. If you want to do a podcast and when you have Skype, use Skype, you got to realize when you're talking to your mic, the person who you're Skyping has to hear your voice. And when he answers you, you have to hear him. But the recorder has to record both of you, and you can't loop it. So, see, the problem gets into a constant loop where he answers you, then the audio he answered you with feeds back through the mixer, and now that doubles back through him, and you get a lot of feedback. Well, the trick is you kind of need like two inputs and two outputs, and that's where Virtual Audio Cable comes in. It's a program by, I don't even know who it is. His site looks pretty old and pretty sad. Actually, he could do a little bit of an upgrade if he wants to sell more of these things. Virtual Audio Cable is a software program that allows you to basically have multiple applications feed into a single input, a virtual input, and then it can output it to many different applications, like your recording program or to Skype. And I used that I tested it all weekend. The problem with that for me was I couldn't handle the latency problem, which means when I was talking to a Skype person, I needed to be able to hear what he was saying, and I needed to make sure he could hear what I was saying. And it all worked out so that I would say something in the mic, and then I'd hear myself about a second later. And I didn't want to take the time to figure that out, and I didn't really need to, because all I had to do, and this is how I handle it, and this is how I'm going to do it. There's echo. You guys are hearing echo? No? Anybody else hearing an echo? Not getting any there. I don't think I have the... Yeah, I think we should be okay. Okay, let me continue then. Where was I, Mitch? So here's what I did. I bought a second sound card, put that in my machine. Second sound card cost $10 at Micro Center. I put that in the machine. Now here's how I have it rigged up. This might bore some people, but some people are finding this interesting. They want to know how I have my setup, my Skype setup. Let me see if I can explain it quickly here. Got two sound cards, okay? My mic that you're seeing here in the screen feeds into channel 1 of my mixer. It feeds into my mixer, okay? Then the mixer, whatever's going into the mixer, outputs into my line in on my computer, and it records into Audacity. That's all on one sound card, a single sound card. Okay, now to record Skype, I have Skype tied into the mixer using the second sound card. So I'm not going to get into details of it. You guys can kind of figure it out. But using two sound cards, it was actually cheaper than Virtual Audio Cable, because Virtual Audio Cable is $25. Two sound cards is like, well, it's $10 for the second sound card. And it's working out good. This way I don't have any latency, and I can hear everything through my headphones that I need to hear. All right, now let's get to some computer repair stuff. Let's see what I wrote here in my notes. It's been a while. Set the active partition and disk part or computer management, then F8 to get back to window partition, change it back. This is, I talked about this before. If you have a recovery partition on a computer, and you can't boot to it because you installed another operating system or something like that, and you're not able to boot to that recovery partition anymore, here's what you do. You can boot in the recovery console and use a program called DiskPart and set the active partition to the recovery partition. Or if you're able to boot into their operating system, and you could, as long as you could boot into Windows, you can use computer management feature, which is in Control Panel, Computer Management. Then you go to Disk Management, and you set the recovery partition, which will show up in Disk Management, to the active partition. Now, once you do that, I lost my background, didn't I? Oh, well. Okay, once you do that and you set the active partition as a recovery partition, after you load Windows or reinstall Windows, now the computer is always going to boot to the recovery partition because you set that as the active partition. A quick way to set the active partition back to the Windows partition so it doesn't keep booting into the recovery console is this. If you hit F8 like you're going to go into safe mode, there's an OS choices option, operating system choices. All you got to do is choose, pick OS choices and then choose your operating system, and it won't boot in the recovery partition anymore. That's all you got to do. I don't know exactly the exact menu, but I wrote that down. In my notes, I wrote then F8 to get back into the Windows partition and change it back with the OS choices option. That's how we do it. Okay, a couple episodes earlier, I also talked about wanting to be able to go into the Windows registry. And once I'm in the Windows registry, what I want to do is delete multiple registry keys. I want to be able to do a search for, let's say, Roxio. And I want to be able to delete every Roxio entry into in the registry. Yeah, I'm getting choppy video here too, guys. I don't know why. That's pretty lame. Why am I getting choppy video here? I got a freaking quad-core PC here. I can't do normal video. It's not even like 1/10 of the power maxed out here. Okay, anyway, we're going to have to live with it for today. Yeah, I guess it's Ustream. Anyway, so I wanted to be able to use a program to go into the registry and delete multiple registry keys at the same time using a keyword like a search word. And I found a thing called Registry Crawler, but it's a paid program. You have a 30-day free trial, and it worked great. And I did another search online, and I found a program called JV16 Power Tools. It's an older version. I don't know if the newer version can do it, but it's an older free version. Version 1.3 is the one I used. I don't know how good that is. There's a program in there called the Registry Finder. And you go into the Registry Finder, you make sure the box is checked that's looking for whole words match. Otherwise, you're going to delete keys that you don't want to delete. And then you could type in a keyword, like I was trying to delete Audacity out of my registry. Wanted to reset all of Audacity's things back to factory settings. And I needed to go into the registry to do that. I typed Audacity into this Registry Finder, and when I didn't have whole words match checked, it found like 1,000 keys. I know that Audacity wasn't in all those keys. When I chose whole words match, it's looking for the whole word, I guess not just a letter